Hey everybody, it's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Quick little weather update because today is going to be a really interesting day. We've got cold, cloudy, dreary, foggy conditions this morning, but by late this afternoon, there's a potential we could see temperatures skyrocket into the 60s, and we could even see some strong, maybe some severe storms to our south. Here's a look at the loop first. I've got a lot of information going on here, but you can see as I stop this, I'm going to pause it right here. If I zoom in closely, you can see around Charlotte, the temperatures have been in the mid to upper 40s. North, they've been in the 30s, but look how close the clearing skies are and the warm air. Down here in the Midlands of South Carolina, we've got mid 60-degree air, which is coming north. So there's a warm front somewhere in here that's trying to move to the north. And when it does so, the air down here is not only warm, but it's kind of humid. Those are dew points in the 60s. So that's some pretty juicy air. Now, why is that important? Well, look back to the west. We've got this big squall line moving to the east. Now, if the warm air can get in ahead of this, some of this stuff in here could be pretty strong, maybe even a bit severe depending on the setup. You can see the severe weather threat down there in parts of Alabama and Georgia. Let me pull up my other program here and I'll show you what it's going to look like on Futurecast. So here you go. Let's look at our Futurecast model here. So you can see the light rain, but look at this squall line that develops to the west. I'm going to go into the afternoon hours. I'm going to stop this right around 3 o'clock. You can see the line of heavy downpours developing. And as you look down into Georgia, you're getting what we call a QLCS. That's short for a really fancy name called a quasi-linear convective system. And what it means is we've got a squiggly line of thunderstorms. And when the line is squiggly like this, you've got winds pushing out in this direction. Sometimes you can get rotation there. That's typically something you look for potentially for some damaging winds. Now, as this moves to the east, you can see I'll go in closer to Charlotte here. We'll tilt the map. This is right around 5 p.m. We'll go to 6, and you can see that line crossing right over Charlotte. So that time frame, the potential, especially around Charlotte, right there south, some of these storms could be strong, maybe even severe. We'll go towards 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. There's some moisture behind it. 10, 11, everything kind of clears out. So you can kind of see this could be a pretty stormy evening. I'm going to loop this a couple times, and you can see the movement from west to east across the area. Now, what's interesting is how much instability, something we call CAPE, do we get ahead of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load up the CAPE here. So it's going to take a second to load here. So I'm going to hit the load button here, and you'll see the CAPE. So this is CAPE is just a fancy term for thunderstorm fuel. So you can see all these all frames loading here. So it's loading up right now. I'm going to stop it, and I'll pause it here. Okay, so we'll stop this at 2 o'clock. You see this darker shades down here? This is where our big thunderstorm fuel is, basically where the warm front is moving north. Now, if this gets in here ahead of that front, whoops, that'll give us the potential for some strong storms. So we'll stop this right around 4 o'clock. Remember that squall line was hitting us right around 5? Look at that right there. So you see around Charlotte South, these areas in the brighter shades. And if you look at the top, that's the scale. But just to show you, this is called joules per kilogram squared. When we see 500 or higher, that's plenty. And 1,000 down there towards Winsboro, that's a lot of shear associated with this system. So I would potentially see maybe some strong storms around Rock Hill, Monroe, Chester, Lancaster. There's a pretty good chance we could see that as that moves in. Now, what I haven't mentioned are the wind gusts behind this system. We're going to see high wind warnings in the mountains. We've already got those in effect for tonight because of some gusty winds. So really a complex setup here with this system moving in from the west and the potential for some strong storms after we started the day so cloudy and cool. So stay tuned. I'll have updates throughout the afternoon and especially into the evening hours. That evening commute could actually be worse than the morning commute.